Now, another Weibo post that's been getting quite a lot of attention from Chinese internet users would have to be a post by the official microblog account of the American consulate in Hong Kong. Now, the post is about America's National School Lunch Act and basically talks about the act and how it aims to provide low-cost or free school lunch meals for qualified students through subsidies. How the program was established as a way to prop up food prices by absorbing farm surpluses, while at the same time provide food for school-aged children. And how it was signed into law by President Harry Truman in 1946. Now, many Chinese internet users found the law to be very impressive, since the subsidized lunch program is something that the Chinese government has only recently taken up. However, there were also some skeptics as well as Weibo users who sounded a little bitter. So now let's take a look at some of their Weibo comments.
China is a country with a large population, so it is hard for the Chinese government to provide for every child with a free meal. There are simply no handouts in China unless you work for the state. Shameless for the consulate to post this. There are problems with America's educational system as well. They had a teacher strike that saw 350,000 kids without classes to attend. America should fix their own problems before comparing themselves with other countries. How come there are no corruption cases in America where school authorities and local authorities embezzled the subsidized lunch funds? I don't understand. What is America doing that we aren't doing? Why are similar measures effective in America but not in China? The problem with China is that everything is set up to protect the people but lacks supervision, while everything that is set up to protect the government interests are heavily supervised. In China, there are many problems with our lunch programs. Firstly, corruption in local government makes it so our children are not receiving the full subsidies. Secondly, some children were forced to take part in the program even though they can afford better food themselves. Thirdly, some free meals lack nutrition and are of bad quality, often leading to cases of food poisoning.
The Chinese government also offers subsidized lunch programs for students living in rural China. However, the Chinese system is plagued by corruption and scandals. For example, 5 officials in Hunan province were sacked after a teacher in a primary school posted pictures online that showed subsidized lunch for students that only contained a small box of milk and a single piece of bread. The teacher then wrote that such a meager lunch would cause students to die of hunger. Now, the case is under investigation, but the general consensus on Weibo is that school authorities or perhaps the local government had embezzled the funding from the central government. Now, the biggest hurdle facing China's subsidized lunch program is believed by many people to be the lack of supervision in the implementation process. According to a spokesman for the Free Lunch for Children NGO operating in China, most local county and village-level governments are in cahoots with some retailers to send children cold, sometimes expired milk and bread, so that they can cut into the government subsidy, which is at around 50 US cents per child per day. Now, a lot of people on the internet believe that the Chinese government should invite third-party NGOs to supervise China's implementation of the subsidized lunch policy.